Hey T-Squad, welcome back to the Cult series. We've talked about Jonestown, Waco, Heaven's Gate, and the Solar Temple. Today's story is one of the most infamous cult cases in American history. It's got drugs, music, Hollywood, and one of the most shocking murder sprees of the late 60s. Yep, this is the story of Charles Manson and the Manson family. Charles Manson grew up bouncing around abusive homes and spent most of his early life in and out of prison. By the late 1960s, he drifted into California's hippie scene. He was small in stature, but he had piercing eyes, a strange charisma, and he knew how to manipulate. Manson preached a mix of twisted biblical ideas, the occult, and psychedelic drug use, but he also added his own bizarre prophecy, something he called Helter Skelter, inspired by the Beatles' song. According to Manson, a race war was coming, and he and his followers would survive it, then rule the world afterward. Manson attracted a group of mostly young, vulnerable women. Many were runaways or searching for purpose in the counterculture scene. He gave them drugs, attention, and a sense of belonging. Soon they were living together on a California ranch, calling themselves the family. Manson controlled every part of their lives. He decided who could sleep with who, dictated when they ate, when they tripped on LSD, and constantly reinforced the idea that he was a messiah-like figure. For the family, Charlie was everything. In 1969, Manson became convinced he had to ignite the race war he predicted. So he ordered his followers to commit murders that would shock the world and frame Black Americans for the crimes. On the night of the 8th of August, 1969, family members broke into a Hollywood home rented by actress Tate, who was 8 months pregnant at the time. They brutally murdered Tate and 4 others in the house. The next night, Manson sent another crew to kill Leno and Rosemary LaBianca, a wealthy couple in Los Angeles. The killers wrote words like "pig and blood" on the walls, leaving behind a horrifying crime scene. In total, 7 people were murdered across those 2 nights. When police finally arrested Manson and several family members, the case became one of the biggest media spectacles of the century. Manson would sit in court with a carved swastika on his forehead, ranting about the end of the world. His followers, especially the young women, showed no remorse and sang his praises even as they faced life in prison. In 1971, Manson and key family members were convicted of murder and conspiracy to commit murder. They were sentenced to death, but when California abolished the death penalty, their sentences were commuted to life in prison. Charles Manson became one of the most notorious cult leaders in history. He spent the rest of his life behind bars, giving bizarre interviews, ranting about Helter Skelter, and still managing to draw twisted admirers from the outside. He died in prison in 2017. As for the family, many of them are still in prison today, though a few have been released. The murders left a permanent scar on American culture, ending the so-called Summer of Love and exposing the dark side of the hippie dream. So that's the story of Charles Manson and the family, a cult built on drugs, manipulation, and fear. That spiraled into one of the most infamous murder sprees of the 20th century. Next time in our cult series, we'll dive into yet another group whose strange beliefs and dangerous actions shocked the world. Until then, T-Squad, remember, just because someone calls themselves a prophet doesn't mean they won't lead you straight into hell.